Violence, trauma, and survival. My story that I want to share with you today. Welcome back to Slow Roll. My name is Stephanie. Videos every Wednesday discussing chronic illness, product review, and the day-to-day. And today we have a bit of a different video for you. If our daily content or our weekly content seems interesting to you, I highly encourage you to subscribe down below. And if you're a first-time viewer of our channel today, I thank you for watching my story. 15 years old, innocent, even though I believed that I had nothing more to learn. Teen hormones are real, people. Though those years are now behind me, most people look at me now, spending most of my time in bed, not able to work, sit or focus for more than a moment at any time, no matter the reason. I still need more rest. They see me now and think I must be having some very difficult years, some of my worst years perhaps. The truth is, my teen years were some of the most difficult years of my life so far. Roe v Wade overturned. I woke up to the news last week. We all knew there was a possibility, but how could it even become a reality? I had a hard time not thinking of my history and the impact this news could have had on me if I was 15 and had things been a little bit different. Today, I'm going to share my sexual assault story. I know too many people who have been affected directly or indirectly by sexual assault, trauma, or violence. This week shows us just how much the United States has little regard for victims, let alone anyone who is no longer going to have a say in what happens to their bodies. This is my story. He was dating one of my friends. One night, I was watching TV, sitting on the couch, hanging out, and I hear a bang at the door. Frantic knocking. It was him. Tears rolling down his eyes. I asked him what was wrong. He barged in, went straight to the living room, still crying, no answer. I asked again, what's wrong? What's going on? He finally replied, she broke up with me. I don't know what to do with myself. I thought to myself, well, that's probably not for the worst. They didn't necessarily have a great relationship, but they were great friends. I go over to him and try and comfort him with a hug. He was my friend after all. As soon as I hugged him, the emotions in the room changed. As I let go, he holds me back and asks me not to let go. I said, okay, I got you. You're gonna be okay. As I try and release again, the crying stopping, he releases me and holds my hands. I need you, he says. I need you now. Looking at me up and down, and as he released my hands and moves towards my chest, I grab his hands and tell him I did not think it was a good idea, replying, you've been through a lot today. Let's not do anything you'll regret. He turns to me with these eyes I will never forget. No, I need you now, he said aggressively. He begins to rip off my clothes, pins me to the couch. Not quite understanding how bad things have gotten, I was in shock. As he continues to pin me down with one hand and removes his pants and pulls his underwear down just enough to expose himself. It has taken me years to recall where my head was at as I was in disbelief. I had some point as he started inserting himself, my brain clicked. My innate internal survival mode kicked in. I did not truly feel like I was in control of my body at this point, but my body had taken over. He shifted just slightly enough for me to get my knee up between his legs, and I hit him as hard as I possibly could. I didn't know what was going on at this point. I threw myself off the couch and ran to the ensuite bathroom, locked the door, and sat on the floor in disbelief, not really knowing what to do next. I hear the door open and slam behind him. He has left. What is going on? I thought to myself. After all that, is this over? I sat on the floor by myself, not really knowing what to do next. I was by myself overnight. Looking back, I was a very independent teenager. I thought to myself, Mom can't do anything to change this. This happened to me. And I honestly didn't want to burden anyone with what had happened. It took me months to tell my mom, let alone anyone else. That took me years. Much of the next few days are a blur. I went to school and just followed what was a normal routine. A few days after, as I walked home from school, a cop car was sitting in front of me. I knocked on the window and asked the cop if I could ask him a question. He said, yes, of course, what's up? I mentioned that I had this friend that was going through a hard time and had recently been assaulted sexually. She wasn't 18 and he was over 18. I wanted his thoughts. What should she do? She is scared and not sure what to do next, if anything. He replied, well, cases like these are complicated. Most of the time are not worth pursuing. It's simply damaging for no reason. It's always a he said, she said, he finished. At this point, I honestly regretted even bringing it up. I was starting to get emotional and they started looking at me strange. I needed to get out of the situation. I thanked them for their help and left. I was not sure what I expected of the interaction. I still don't know what I was trying to get to at this point. A few weeks after the assault, I started getting sick, feeling very blah and as if I was starting a cold. I went to see my doctor. I got blood work done. I had an STD. But little did she know the only test I truly cared about was finding out whether or not I was pregnant. I was not. She told me to take the meds and that I would be back to normal soon. I watched my 16th birthday come and go, canceling all my plans we had made. Little did I know I was going through a depression, a difficult trauma-induced depression. After 6 weeks of missed school, there was a lot of societal, emotional, and family pressure to get back at it. I was fine. Get back to the happy-go-lucky kid I was just a few months ago. Weeks went by, and I went to my school counselor like I would normally to discuss my future. At the end of the day, I only had a few years left. Sat in his office and simply broke down and told him what had happened. This first recall would allow me a sense of relief. I was no longer the only person who knew. I had someone I could go to that I could trust. He referred me to a counseling service where I got mental health support. Over the next year, I slowly processed my emotions and traumas from the incident. I wish I could go back to my 15-year-old self and tell myself, you are strong, you will get through this. Will you have regrets? Yes, but you did the best you could and what you felt was best for you in the moment. And that is okay. You will be okay. You will move forward, but you will never forget. I cannot imagine how many women like me recalled their traumas last week. To the American women who are in disbelief of last week's events, we are here, we see you, we worry for you, and we wish we could do more. For anyone interested in supporting financially, please see a few organizations below. Till next time, don't forget to slow your roll.